World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
This is World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres reiterated his call for a two-state solution in the Gaza conflict, saying any form of ethnic cleansing in the war-torn Palestinian enclave should be avoided. He made a statement after United States President Donald Trump floated the idea of resettling the Palestinians elsewhere and the U.S. takeover of the Gaza Strip. Speaking at a UN committee meeting, Guterres stressed the need to stay true to the bedrock of international law and to avoid any form of ethnic cleansing. The UN chief said that any durable peace will require tangible, irreversible, and permanent progress toward the two-state solution, an end to the occupation, and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with Gaza as an integral part. He also emphasized that a viable, sovereign Palestinian state living side by side in peace and security with Israel is the only sustainable solution for the instability in the Middle East. Speaking at a press conference alongside visiting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump suggested a permanent resettlement of Palestinians outside Gaza and the U.S. ownership of the war-ravaged territory. He said Washington would be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site and would create economic development benefiting the people of the area. Trump's remarks received widespread condemnation from the international community, with many describing it as an ethnic cleansing and a war crime. A ceasefire is currently in place in the Gaza Strip after the Israeli government and the militant group Hamas reconciled on their set conditions. The truce paved the way for the outpouring of humanitarian assistance and the return of thousands of Gazans who were displaced in the 15th-month war. In our news, Panama's President Jose Raul Mulino accused the United States of spreading lies and falsehoods after Washington claimed that U.S. government ships would be allowed to transit the Panama Canal without charge fees. Speaking to reporters on Thursday, Mulino said he absolutely rejects that Panama and the U.S. relations be based on lies and falsehoods, criticizing the U.S. State Department for releasing a statement that he described as simply and plainly intolerable. He also said that he asked his envoy in Washington to take firm steps to reject the claims made by the administration of Donald Trump. On Wednesday, the U.S. Department of State announced that American government ships can now traverse the Panama Canal without charge fees, saying the agreement would save the U.S. government millions of dollars a year. The claim was later denied by the Panama Canal Authority, saying it had not made any changes to charge fees or rights to pass through the conduit. It also reiterated its willingness to establish dialogue with relevant U.S. officials regarding the transit of wartime vessels from the U.S. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he believed that it was absurd that the U.S. Navy has to pay transit fees as it is obligated to protect the facility under the U.S.-Panama Treaty. Citing the recent conversations of the U.S. with Panamanian government, Rubio said he is not confused about Panama following its process, adding Washington's expectations remain the same. The U.S. State Department's announcement came days after Rubio met Mulino in the Panamanian capital. It also came weeks after U.S. President Donald Trump accused Panama of charging excessive rates to use the canal, warning he would demand that the conduit be returned to U.S. control. The 82-kilometer waterway was largely built by the U.S. and had control for decades before it signed a joint administration deal with Panama in 1977. The pair of accords paved the way for the canal's return to the Panamanian control in 1999. For Philippine Embassy and Consular News, the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA said Manila is looking at signing a number of new agreements with the United Kingdom ahead of the 80th anniversary of the two countries' bilateral relations in 2026. In a press release Wednesday, the DFA said among these deals are Memoranda of Understanding in Trade and Investments, Maritime Defense, Information and Communications Technology. The DFA said these are expected to be concluded this year, leading towards the commemorative celebration of the 80th Philippine-UK anniversary. At the second Philippines-UK Strategic Dialogue in London on February 3, DFA Undersecretary for Bilateral Relations and ASEAN Affairs Maria Teresa Lazaro and UK Parliamentary Undersecretary of State Indo-Pacific Catherine West MP identified the next milestone of the relations with emphasis on the soon-to-be signed deals. Both delegations also looked forward to the conclusion of the Joint Framework Agreement set for signature in March this year. During the meeting, West and Lazaro also exchanged views and positions on regional and international issues, with the latter thanking the UK for its continued support for advancing the rule of law in the Indo-Pacific region. The strategic dialogue is the outcome of the Philippines-UK Enhanced Partnership, officially launched in November 2021. Since the launch in 2021, both countries have hosted thematic meetings in 5 strategic areas of cooperation referred to as pillars of the partnership, namely political affairs, defense, maritime, economic and trade, and climate and environment. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Win Peñano. Good day.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.